Alright, so I want to tell you a story, but we're going to go to a place that's pretty cool, one that I'm familiar with. It's a little bit of a drive, we got to go get some gas, but you know, we've been apart, separated for so long, and it's just, I haven't been able to talk to anybody and have like a real conversation. So, you're the lucky ones. Yes, you are the ones who get to listen to me ramble on about something. But it's actually kind of a cool story that I think it's pretty cool. But you'll be able to make up your own mind on that and make your own decision. So, all right. Well, we'll be back. You know, I'm watching a lot of people's vlogs lately. Most of them good. But it came to me and I realized I was vlogging like 20 years ago. Here's a clip. No kidding.
And I'll let you see what it is they have to do every time you come on post. Of course, wouldn't want some terrorists coming and blow shit up, which, as we all know, is a possibility. But this is it. This is at every single gate. Every time you try to come onto Fort Hood, you got to go through this. It's not too big of a hassle now that all the 4th ID is over in Iraq, and there ain't hardly anybody here on Fort Hood. So, but this is the gate. This is them checking my ID. Thanks, have a nice day. Let's see what he says. Have a nice day or take it easy, boy.
Good morning.
Good morning, how you doing?
I'm doing just fine. You have a great day.
Good, you too.
Have a great day. Oh, I will. Can't wait to get back to the detail. Yeah. There you have it. That's coming into Fort Hood.
We have arrived at our destination. It's really kind of nowhere. Let's go for a walk. Alright, so we are just on a recreational trail. We're still kind of close to a road. Alright, so we found ourselves a cozy little bench here. I just want you to know I am sacrificing myself to be out here because there are tons of mosquitoes. So in my early 20s, as many early 20-year-olds do, alright, we're going to have to find somewhere else because this is wicked. Let's move, shall we? Absolutely. Yeah, let's get the hell out of here. I got a bite on my head. Got another bite on my head. A couple on my back that I can feel, and a couple on my arms. And I was only out there for a couple minutes. I really don't like being so succulent to mosquitoes. Alright, I think we may have found a spot where we can... Alright, so we'll go back to the year 2000. I was in my early 20s. Like many people in their early 20s, making stupid decisions, making bad decisions. The final straw for me was I was out after work after a second shift job. It was about 10:30 at night when we got done, about 12:30 when we left the bar. I was with an an acquaintance of mine, a buddy. I was driving with him. We were parked in behind the bar area, and right next to it, right behind the bar, was a river. Well, it was raining that night, and if you know what a street looks like at night when it's raining, it's kind of glistening and kind of sparkly, because of street lights when you're in town. And apparently he thought the river was the road, and this river just happens to be dredged, so it's like a 5-6 foot drop off from the bank down to the actual water. Well, the truck goes in, just hanging on the bank, and then goes sideways. The passenger side tires catch on the embankment, kind of give it a little bounce, and then it goes down into the river. It blows out the driver's side window, and water just starts rushing in, and he starts panicking. Me, I'm like, okay, this is not cool. We have to open the door and get out of here. Well, he comes up by me, pushes me out of the way, and starts trying to punch the window out. I'm like, dude, this isn't a movie, and you're not the Terminator, all right? Well, water's rising up. It gets to about my chest, where I finally am able to push him out of the way, open the door, climb out. I had to, push the door open, climb out, hold it open for him. And standing there on top of his newer Ford Explorer at the time, the truck is sideways in the river, completely submerged. We're standing on it with water up to about our knees, and I think it was right then and there I decided this isn't going to work for me anymore. This isn't what I want to do. This isn't the path that I want to go down. So I made a decision. The best but most consequential decision that I ever made. So I decided to join the Army. I remember driving up to Fort Benning on the bus, getting off of it, getting told, line up, do this, do that. I fell right in line. It was a long time since I had any kind of discipline or structure. It was something I was actually kind of looking forward to. So it was good to go. Felt like it was all good. Boot camp was hard. I remember within the first couple of days we were running around a track, kind of get an assessment of where you were at when you got there. And I sprained my ankle. I stepped on a rock and I sprained my ankle pretty good. Later on it was a pretty nice, black and blue bulge in my left ankle. I'm kind of top heavy, so I sprained my ankle several times over the years, several times. But the drill sergeant, not mine at the time, somebody else's, I don't remember what platoon he was for, but he's yelling, come on, let's go, get moving, get going. And I'm like, drill sergeant, I sprained my ankle, and he didn't hear me, or he didn't care, one of the two. So I kind of powered through a little bit, hobbled along, and literally hobbled up to our barracks room and had to take it easy for the next couple of days. Luckily, I showed our drill sergeant. He could see. It was a bad sprain. So, yeah, what are you going to do? So I kind of, I did everything that I could, as much and as best and as hard as I could. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't think I've had a sprained ankle on my left ankle since then. I think it decided to heal up and make sure it never happened again. But at the time, I didn't really realize it, that how much I would appreciate boot camp and our drill sergeants. Certainly not at the time. Hindsight, very much so. It's one of the, at the time, it was the greatest thing that I ever did and accomplished. One of the really cool things was at the end of basic. I don't know if they still do this or not. This was 20 years ago. But back then, at the end of basic, or one station unit training, so it was basic training and then my infantry training wrapped together. So it was, I think it was 16 weeks, something like that. And then I also had Bradley School after that. But anyways, the bayonet at the end of your basic training for infantry. It's a 12-mile march out, 25-mile march back in with a bunch of obstacles. I believe 12 obstacles spread throughout. Ammo can carry, of course, is huge ammo cans with just this little wire, handle, so it digs into your palms, basically so you can't carry it like that for very long. You got to figure something else out. Your buddy carry and a bunch of other stuff too. Rope bridge, where it's one rope, a couple people got wet. I did, which I thought was pretty cool. But at the end of it, the coolest part is at the end of it, you just got done marching all day, going through all these courses, and I believe it was like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I have no idea what day it was. But we're marching up this giant hill, and it's like the last test. I mean, it is a giant, steep hill. I'm sure at the time it felt worse than what it was because you're already so beaten down after spending a week out in the woods and then coming back through all this 25-mile march and all these obstacle courses. I mean, just tore down. I remember going up the hill and just thinking, I don't know if I'm going to make it, man. I don't know if I'm going to make it. This is just ridiculous. My body is just done. And I started slowing down. And one of the greatest things about the military, one of the things that I miss the most is that, you started slowing down and you started, almost doubting yourself. I remember, I don't know who it was, but somebody shoved me in the back enough to make me take a couple of steps forward and was just like, come on, Meyer, you got this. And then from then on, you just kind of feed off of each other. You just kind of work together, and that energy that you share it's phenomenal. You think you know how far you can go until you get to your end, your breaking point, and you realize that's not your end, it's not your breaking point. You can still go even further. You still got even more in you. And that's one of the things that I miss the most about the military, truly. That's one of the things that, working with a team to accomplish something bigger. And it's just phenomenal. It's just awesome. And that's one of the things that I miss the most. When I was before COVID-19, we were doing so good. We had such big plans and we were moving in a direction and it was so exciting. And then this happened. It just destroyed everything that I was personally trying to build for where I work. I work in independent living, and I was trying to build almost like a little community, people who knew each other, who got along, who did things together, who went out on the town together. We're talking like 70, 80-year-old people. We're not talking, 20, 30-year-old people going out on the town. But so many good people, so many people that I respect, and so many people that were really enjoying it, and then this just shut it all down. And it's been like 6 or 7 months, and like I said earlier, it's really starting to suck. So, yeah. So anyways, I remember, another turning point. It was after basic training. Well, let me go back because this is the coolest part. I jump around a lot, so stick with me here. The middle-aged rambler. Trademark. Going up that hill, back in basic, and having someone push you even farther. And then you push somebody else in front of you because that push gave you a little bit of a burst, gave you a little bit of a, you're darn right I got this. You're darn right we got this. And you do it to the next guy, and it just kind of goes up the line where you're just encouraging each other and helping each other out. So you get to the top, and there's a big old pole on the left with a big old barrel, fire coming out of it, lighting it up. Big old pole on the right, and we're talking probably 25, 30 feet apart. I can't say exactly. It definitely seemed like 40 feet apart. Pole here, barrel on fire over here, lighting up, and in the middle, this giant American flag. This sense of pride, that brought to me. And I've always been an American guy. I've always had a flag in my room. Even when I was younger, loved bald eagles, loved everything about America. And then to see that after doing and knowing that was like your last task, like that's it, you got it. And then they come up, you line up and you drink your blue juice because blue is for the infantry. I'm pretty sure it was Gatorade. Pretty sure. 90% sure. But it was just a moment of such pride and being around all these other guys who did it with you. you know, and knowing that that's your team, you know, that's the big green machine, you know, and you would do anything for these guys, you know. Most of them still would, you know. Yeah. So anyways, the very last thing is you get your cross rifles. I'll show you a picture of those right now. Your cross rifles, you know, they get put on your uniform, and your drill sergeant lines it up ever so perfectly, and then, you know, gives you the welcome to the infantry. And while it hurt, a little bit of a twinge, wasn't terrible. I mean, it's not like they're hitting, you know, 6-inch spikes into you, just tiny little ones. But it's kind of like a rite of passage, and damn, it's a very proud moment. All right, so after basic, went to Bradley Fighting School, Bradley Fighting Vehicle School, and graduated there with top honors. Was actually the honor graduate for Bradley Fighting School. I believe I still have that certificate somewhere. Maybe, I don't know. It was a long time ago. Got divorced, some things got lost in the move and in the consequential several moves after that. That's a whole nother story. But, so, after Bradley Fighting School, Bradley Fighting Vehicle School, it was off to Fort Hood, Texas, which would be my home for the next couple of years. Yeah, and I remember 9/11 very, very distinctly. It is a day that will live forever. There are a couple of images from that day that are burned into my mind. I was changing from my PT uniform into my BDUs, which is my green camouflage uniform. I just had my pants on, and I had my brown shirt on, and I had the TV on, and it got interrupted, and I see I don't remember if it was the north or south tower that was burning, and I'm watching it, and I'm wondering, you listen to the newscasters of, you know, a plane flew into the World Trade Center tower, and that's odd, right? I mean, we have technology to make sure that that doesn't happen. We have air traffic control to make sure that doesn't happen. And I don't know how much longer or how much later it was, but I remember distinctly watching it live. The second plane smashed through the second tower. And it was at that moment where I was just like, this is not an accident. This is going to change things. And boy, did it. So, one of the pictures in my mind that I can still see, I walked out I was on the second floor of barracks, and I walked out onto the balcony, and pretty much everybody else was leaning over the balcony talking on their phones, talking to, you know, their mom and dad, you know, who else, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, I don't know. So I'm standing out there, and then I hear my phone ring. I pick it up. It's my mom. She's crying. You can obviously hear the distress in her voice, and, you know, saying that this is the worst thing that's ever happened to us since Pearl Harbor, and she was right. And I'm in the infantry, active duty, you know, thinking, all right, didn't expect it. This is, however, what I signed up for, to protect our country, and I will do so. And so did 99.9% of everybody else around me. It was a few years later, and I found myself halfway across the world in Iraq, and that's another story. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Just some things I needed to get out because I am not able to talk to anybody about, you know, things that still are pretty consequential to me and my life. I can't wait to get back to being able to be around a team. I miss it. I miss feeling like we're working together. And, you know, one of the things I always say is nobody wants to hit a home run in an empty stadium. Well, now that's what you're doing. Now that's what's happening. But you know what I mean. You know, it's much, much more exciting and much more fun and meaningful when there's people there to celebrate with you. I mean, the baseball teams, they still got their teams to celebrate with them, but I mean, I think you know what I mean. So I hope you do. If not, hit me up in the comments below and I'll try to clarify what it is I'm talking about. All right, it's the middle-aged rambler. I'm going to sign off for now, and I got to do it. I got to do it. If you like the video, hit the like button, and don't be afraid to subscribe. I'm not going to say hit the bell because I don't know how often I'm going to be doing this. I don't even know if I'm going to post this. I just know that I just need to get some stuff off my chest and hopefully stir up some conversation. So if you're a vet, you know, definitely hit me up, put that in the comments, and let's talk. You know, I think it's good for all of us. You know, especially if you're a combat veteran, it's definitely important to be able to talk. Isolation does not help at all. So, alrighty, now I'll actually sign off. Later.